Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another weekly update of We're Gonna Need a Bigger Blog. I'm your host, Al Colker, and tonight I have a special guest, my friend, my man, Willis LeVert. Baby, let's hear it, Willis.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about it was a really damn good weekend for movies. We had Venom, which we will be talking about today for the first half. And we had A Star Is Born with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. Venom bringing in a total of $80 million, followed by A Star Is Born with $40 million. So, really good weekend. I saw both of those movies. I may or may not have cried at A Star Is Born, but I definitely recommend it. And Venom, what a great movie. Me and Willis are going to be talking about it. And then after our break, we're going to be talking about the Spider-Man universe, how far it's come, and what's next for it. Because right now, me and Willis we're kind of oldies now. We're oldies, and we've seen 3 Spider-Mans in our age. Can you imagine that, Willis? 3 Spider-Mans.
It's a little sad that they didn't stick with one, but
I know,
like
and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. But ladies and gentlemen, we're also going to say a quick prayer out to Tate Howe. He was supposed to be on us tonight, but he had a review session. And our main motto for this show is that school comes first. So, school comes first, ladies and gentlemen, always. And here's a trailer for the Venom. So, take a listen.
Thank you for bringing us collectively to this moment. It is a moment that so many have dreamed of claiming. History starts today.
The guy you work for is an evil person.
I don't work for him. My firm works for him. Are you gonna behave yourself tomorrow?
I told you I'm gonna do my job. I'm a reporter. I follow people that do not want to be followed. What about the allegations that you recruit the most vulnerable for tests that end up killing people?
Your time to go.
You finished, Mr. Brock.
Was that a threat? You had to learn how to hide in plain sight. I'm pretty good at it. But you suck. Whoever you are.
I work at the Life Foundation, and I need your help. We found something. We call them symbiotes. Carlton Drake believes that the union between human and symbiote is the key to our evolution.
I'm feeling really sick. I'm hearing a voice. Eddie. You're not real. You were just in my head.
I'm gonna need Mr. Drake's property back.
I don't know. Why would we do that? If you're gonna stay, you will only hurt bad people.
The way I see it, we can do whatever we want. Do we have a deal?
Are you willing to sacrifice the one thing you hold most dear? You should be extremely afraid. What the hell are you?
We are Venom.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was just a taste of the trailer. That was the first trailer. And if you have time tonight, you should check it out. Of course, you should just go see the movie because it was phenomenal. So Willis, what were you expecting?
Well, it pretty lives up to most of my expectations. You expect Tom Hardy and Venom to be really interesting.
Oh, Tom Hardy.
It's a good dynamic.
Tom Hardy's my boy. If you guys don't know who Tom Hardy is, he's the main character. He plays Eddie Brock, who is kind of the stereotypical kind of low life journalist that he actually kind of deserves to get revenge in this good way, and he unites with this alien symbiote called Venom. and played by Tom Hardy. Now, if you don't know who Tom Hardy is, he played the pilot in Dunkirk, who, of course, he has a name, but I don't know it.
Bane from Batman.
He was Bane. Yep. You think darkness is your ally? Yeah. He did a great Bane. He's also been in a lot of Christopher Nolan movies: Dunkirk, Dark Knight Rises, Inception, and that was kind of really his kind of start off point. Tom Hardy's kind of he played Mad Max, which was a phenomenal movie, honestly one of my favorites, and now he's hopping into the Marvel universe, which is big, especially for him.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely having a better run than the DC universe, so I'm glad he's in Marvel instead.
Well, yeah, DC universe is kind of slacking. All right.
Yep.
They are.
Yeah, but you pretty much get what you want out of the movie if you just want to see Tom Hardy be a badass and...
Hey, no cussing.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
You get to see Tom Hardy be really cool.
He's more than cool. He becomes the Venom.
You get very interesting CGI fight scenes with Venom and other symbiotes within the show that you probably don't really know unless you're a comic book nerd like me, but...
Wait, so Willis, all right, so you're a comic book nerd.
A little bit.
Little bit. So you're telling me that if I went to your house back in Chicago, there'd be comic books everywhere?
No, I read them online.
Okay, well, that's... All right, well, you threw me off. I was not expecting that. But, yeah, all right. Guys, Willis just admitted to it. He's a comic book nerd. That's a good thing. No, because we need them. That's why Willis is here right now. And that's why me and Willis went to go see this movie on a Saturday night instead of having a social life, because we don't need that. So I was expecting the same thing kind of as Willis. I got a lot of mixed reviews from it. One of my good friends actually saw Venom Thursday night, and he said he actually didn't like it. And my good friend, he's got really good taste in movies as well. So when he said that, I was like, kind of a little. I was going a little nervous. I was not expecting it to be as good as I thought it was, and I think a main part of it is because of Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy carries the role of this Eddie Brock in the very beginning as this journalist who's kind of really just struggling day by day to kind of get through his job. And for those journalists listening out there, they know it's a hard job. He played the role as kind of like the Matt Lauer before Matt Lauer was crooked. So he was out there on the streets every day talking to people and really getting the beats down every day. And he did a really good job. He had a lot of steady jobs, but did you notice they mentioned when he got fired from the Daily Global?
Yeah, that was an interesting
that was tied in.
It was a little nod to Superman, which is a little surprising, but
wait, was that Superman or the
Daily Globe? Yeah.
Which one's the one that Spider-Man works at?
I can't remember. Daily Planet or something.
Is it Daily Bugle?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
either way, it was interesting. And then he's really just a self-destructive person with a good heart, which is kind of what's interesting about him, is because he's kind of wrapped up in the scenario where he's being forced to do not really great things, but he has a good heart, and it's actually what gets him in trouble because he pokes at the bear of the Life Foundation, which is known to be like a little bit of a corrupt organization.
Yeah, so
now he finds a symbiote.
Yeah, so Willis, thanks for bringing that up. So the Life Foundation, owned by the Carlton Drake, also played by Riz Ahmed. His well-known role is in Nightcrawler as kind of Jake Gyllenhaal's second man. If you guys haven't seen Nightcrawler, I would highly suggest it. One of my favorite movies. Really creepy movie, and Jake Gyllenhaal probably should. I think he might have got nominated for it, but he definitely should have. He's got nominated because he did a really scary role as some creepy guy who films weird stuff at night. But so Carlton Drake, the owner of this organization called Life Foundation, and really he's the Elon Musk.
He's pretty much just an evil Elon Musk.
Elon Musk is pretty evil already. We don't know what he's up to. All right, he definitely just got.
Yeah, he's definitely doing some sketchy stuff.
He's definitely, and SEC is trying to catch out on him, man. They're on to him. They're on to him.
He knows something.
He knows something that we all don't. And Willis, we have a listener in says you guys speak louder. So
me?
Yes.
All right.
So speaking to the mic. Thank you to our listener Noah Downs. Thank you for the shout out. Willis, please speak louder. So back to our Elon Musk of evil of the Marvel. So Carlton Drake, he's the owner of this Life Foundation, puts on this real face. He's talking to kids. He's like giving them high fives. He's saying, "Oh, you can all be scientists." La la la. Oh, let's go into the back door. Oh, yeah, we have like 4 symbiotes in our cages, and we're testing live human beings, and the people are just dying left and right.
And they're pretty much just taking advantage of homeless people and
anyone
literally anyone who's a vulnerable person to volunteer for something like that for some money.
And that's where Eddie Brock kind of gets in his face. If you kind of heard in the trailer, he kind of asked some questions that Carlton Drake was not all for because he was pushing the limits. And Eddie Brock's he was a good job. That's what journalists do. If Woodward and Bernstein are still around, but that's Eddie Brock would be getting lunch with Woodward and Bernstein. If you guys don't know who Woodward and Bernstein, go back to history class. All right, it's the guy who put Nixon in jail for all the president's men.
Yep,
Watergate scandal. Thanks.
That's what you're looking for.
But this was I like this. This was really good. Marvel's been playing with the same 10 people: Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Hulk. They've been playing with the same people for the past 10 years. And I'm really glad that they're bringing in some evil, because if they're gonna expand the Venom's a part of the Spider-Man universe, and if they're about to expand it, which they really should, and create the Sinister Six, which is Venom a part of the Sinister Six? That's what I thought.
No,
that's what I thought. I don't know why he's not. It makes no sense. But Marvel's bringing in some dark side, which is really good, and they really need to, because I mean, of course, Thanos just. If you haven't seen Infinity War, spoiler alert. Thanos just murdered half of the Avengers, so.
Well, that and Venom's pretty much their first real shot of an anti-hero.
Yeah.
It's an anti-hero only movie. I mean, I guess you could say Deadpool kind of is too, but.
But he's still kind of good, though.
Yeah, they both do some bad, but I think this is more of an anti-hero role than Deadpool.
Yeah, so Venom actually, he's Venom's a symbiote. It's kind of weird. How his name is Venom, which is kind of a weird name. I thought he was gonna have some alien name or something like that, but instead it was Venom. I didn't know that before, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure he just pulled it out of Eddie Brock's head, something like that. It wasn't really specified in the movie, but that's what he went by, and they basically had English equivalents to whatever they went by from the asteroid they were found on.
Oh, they were found on an asteroid. I thought they just picked them up on a planet.
Planet asteroid. It was supposed to be like an asteroid, is what it said in the movie, but it's usually a planet.
So symbiote, they all get captured by this Carlton Drake's Life Foundation, and Venom, of course, Venom.
Let's not dive too far into spoiler stuff. So
no, we're fine. We'll make some alert noises if we're gonna go into spoilers. So that was like the first 5 minutes of the movie, and people should know that.
Nothing serious.
Yeah, watch the trailer, people. All right, come on. But all right. So Willis, did this movie exceed your expectations? I know for me it did. I was going in with I was nervous. My good buddy told me it was okay, and I was worried because I'm a huge Tom Hardy. Not Tom Hardy. Okay. I'm a huge. Okay. All right, Willis, you better watch it. All right, you're not coming on the show again. But I was a huge Tom Hardy fan.
Ouch.
Yeah, get used to it.
Okay.
But I'm a huge Tom Hardy fan. My favorite Tom Hardy film is when he plays John Fitzgerald in The Revenant. Fantastic movie. He's the antagonist in that movie, just like this one. Well, not really in this one. But he does a great role as the frontiersman trying to kill Leonardo DiCaprio. Hugh Glass. Hugh.
Well, back to what we were talking about for expectations of the movie.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was pretty interesting. I would say I got pretty much everything I wanted out of it. I wouldn't say exceeded any expectations, kind of met them.
It is a Marvel movie.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much show up for good CGI fights that are interesting, a little bit of humor, and then pretty much you showed up because Tom Hardy's probably going to be really interesting, and he was. So that was good to see.
Well, sorry. You have
Is this not here?
No, you're on, but your mic's on.
I haven't moved away from the mic.
Just talk into the mic like how I'm doing.
I'm literally doing that.
You're 2 for 2. This is not good, Willis. Willis is shaking his head. Everybody, stop being mean to Willis. Keep going.
But
please.
yeah, it was interesting to see Tom Hardy and his relationship with Venom. They're pretty funny. They play off each other pretty well. They're both kind of a little immature at times and goof around, mess with each other. So it's kind of funny to see Tom Hardy go around the entire movie having somebody talking in his ear when no one else can hear him. So it was an interesting dynamic.
They did a really good job kind of playing off the conscience, like that's Tom Hardy's conscience talking to him the entire time.
Pretty much like Pinocchio's conscience, except a lot more immature.
Yeah, and I guess it's not a spoiler, but one time Venom does call Tom Hardy a pussy, and it was pretty funny.
What happened to no cursing, Hulker?
That's not a curse word. It's a quote from the movie, Willis. All right, you said the B word. All right, totally different.
Okay.
But yeah, so Venom and Tom Hardy, they create kind of quickly. They create a quick, really dynamic duo, and they make this really good team because immediately once Carlton Drake finds out that one of his symbiotes is on the loose, they immediately send kind of like mercenaries to pick him down. And one thing about Carlton Drake that I don't want to forget, he's really just a terrible CEO. He fires, I swear, he fires at least 5 people just on the spot, just because they mess up like once, which of course in the real world, which we're not in yet, thank God, but he fires them on the spot. He fires just like one of his bodyguards who just was standing outside the symbiote like container. And how can you stop a black liquid that moves so fast across the walls and can even inherit your like go into your brain and become part of you? Like, how can you stop that if all you have is like a taser? Like, you can't stop that.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting because he basically does fire people left and right, really just when he's in a bad mood. Most of them didn't have anything to do with it, or they were just standing there. They really didn't even do anything wrong. I mean, it was just kind of just character building for him, just to let you know he's a jerk.
No, he's a huge jerk.
And he's a little unhinged.
And, of course, so going kind of into this, of course, we have Elon Musk. And to add on to the Elon Musk, he has a rocket that goes to space. So it was a little kind of foreshadowing, of course, to Elon Musk's SpaceX. Shout out to Elon Musk. Of course, you're listening.
Yeah, it was definitely kind of making fun of Elon Musk a little bit, especially because they have the very beginning of the movie, literally the first opening scene.
Yeah.
There's a rocket that blows up, and he's literally
in Malaysia,
incredibly worried. Well, it wasn't supposed to land in Malaysia.
Well, but poor Malaysians.
Yeah,
poor Malaysians.
The rocket blows up, and basically he's worried about his stock and money and all that. Just trying to guarantee that he can make more rockets and continue to go forward.
Total CEO move.
Basically, yeah. He was just...
He wasn't even thinking about the Malaysians. And, of course, their market gets infiltrated. Like that old lady, poor old lady. She was just living in the market, having her own day, and boom, just a symbiote just takes over. Just say goodbye to your life. All right. Also, so what kind of actually we'll skip that question. We'll ask that a lot closer to when we talk about the other Spider-Man. So, would you recommend? Of course, I would. I mean, this is kind of I would say this is a give me question, but would you recommend, Willis?
I'd recommend it. It's like a good bad movie. You get everything you want out of it. It's a really fun action movie. It's pretty interesting, but I mean, it's not like it's not going to be up for any Oscars or anything like that. It's not any movie like that. It's still a superhero Marvel movie. So,
yeah,
what you're getting out of it.
It was definitely really good, and it's of course, it's a Marvel movie, and it starts off with the red signs and the comic book slips, and it was really good. Honestly, they had Eminem's kind of come in there. He had his own music, which was really cool. Honestly, I was a huge fan. Eminem making a comeback came out of nowhere. Honestly,
yeah, really.
All right, so what was the thing you loved the most about this movie?
Definitely the best part of the movie is Tom Hardy talking to Venom the entire time, especially when he thinks it's just a voice in his head, and then eventually they start to build a little bit of a relationship and go back and forth, and Venom it kind of realizes he has so much more power over the situation and takes advantage of Tom Hardy the entire time. So that was pretty interesting, along with just the general humor in the movie is pretty funny. It's a pretty good movie, pretty entertaining. Pretty hilarious actually at times.
Oh yeah, it was definitely. I like made a comment. I was like saying like it's a Marvel movie. It's entertaining. It's a thriller. It's got a lot of comedy to it. Like Venom is kind of brings the whole entertainment, and he brings the laughs.
Yeah, no, he really does. Especially kind of keeps a pretty lighthearted tone for doing some pretty gruesome things. Like you see in the trailer, he bites someone's head off.
Oh, dude, he eats everything.
No one flinches. Like no one's like people.
He's a lion.
They just kind of laugh at it.
He's like a lion.
Wow.
He's like a lion and a tiger and a crocodile all in one. And also he is
the humor of a 15-year-old.
The humor of a 15-year-old. And he's also has probably a lot more teeth than like a great white shark. and he just eats people. And he also has the tongue like the size of a snake. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, he looked really cool.
Dude, they did a great job. He looked like the Venom from one of those old Spider-Man games where he was like big and muscular.
Yeah, no, it looked really. He had a really intimidating presence too. Like it wasn't like a small. It wasn't like the past. It wasn't like the Tobey Maguire, Topher Grace one, where he was a lot skinnier and just.
I thought you were gonna not even know the name of the Venom. I was really proud of you, Willis. I thought you scared me a little bit, but it's okay. Yeah. So this Venom, this of course we'll be getting into it a little shortly about the next kind of the first Venom that we all saw when we were back in 2000. When was this? Oh my God, it was so long ago that the other Venom came out. Back in 2007. That was the last time when we saw Venom.
That was the last Tobey Maguire movie too.
Now I know that was but that was the last time we saw Venom. And R.I.P. Tobey Maguire's acting career, because what has he been in, honestly? Hopefully he's not listening. Sorry, Tobey.
Something tells me he's not listening.
Okay, Willis. He's probably listening. I bet Tobey Maguire has nothing better to do on his Tuesdays at 8 o'clock to listen to our movie podcast. All right, so what was... Okay, Willis, what did you think about Eddie Brock's kind of love girl, Anne?
I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's a superhero movie. They kind of needed some sort of female girl lead to play off of.
She was kind of annoying. Yeah. She was really annoying. I disliked every single bit of her.
Yeah.
We're also not gonna talk about when that time she does that one thing. It's really cool.
She just fits into every single superhero.
And then she starts dating a doctor.
Cliche. It was very cliche. It was very.
I did not like the doctor, Ben. I
thought that was a little funnier, but
he was kind of a loser.
Yeah.
He's just really getting in the way, the entire thing, being really scientific. Of course, we know Eddie Brock has a messed up body and there's a symbiote in him. Of course, we didn't need a doctor's permission slip to say that it's a Venom. So,
yeah. I mean, they served their purpose. You kind of find some things out about Venom through them by accident, but it was really the only enjoyable part about Anne was basically her interacting with Venom too, and Venom commenting on her and kind of being in Tom Hardy's ear the whole time, just saying inappropriate things.
Yeah, multiple times while Tom Hardy was talking to or Eddie Brock was talking to his, well, it was ex-girlfriend after something happened, but yeah, you can just hear Venom talking into Tom Hardy's ear, like, oh, I like this girl. Like, she's got a great attitude and all this other stuff. And Tom Hardy's just trying to, like, stay calm and just be like, you need to stop talking, okay? Yeah. It's kind of like, it reminded me of, like, that time when your dad keeps telling you, like, oh, I like her. Or, like, your parents are like, oh, she's so nice and all that other stuff. And you're just like, Mom, like, shut up.
Yeah.
All right, so this was a huge question. Why did they not include Spider-Man in this? I thought for a hot second they were about to.
A lot of people thought they were going to do like a cameo or something like that.
Just something small.
Typically, Venom is usually first introduced to Spider-Man and then runs into Eddie Brock later, but that didn't really happen in this.
All right, we're not bringing facts in here, but yeah, sorry.
I mean, that's what they did in this Spider-Man 3 from 2007 too.
That is true.
That was just the typical way Venom's introduced.
That is true.
But it was pretty interesting that they didn't, especially because a lot of the time those symbiotes will like take powers from whatever they were attached to initially. So that's typically why Venom would have all the Spider-Man powers, is because he was attached to Spider-Man. So that was kind of interesting that they just worked without it.
And also, it did. I mean, it didn't throw me off a whole lot. But once the setting was in like San Francisco, I was like, all right, there's no way Spider-Man is leaving the Big Apple. Spider-Man, that's his zone. Of course, Batman doesn't care. He'll go to Hong Kong and take down that guy.
I guess that's sort of true, but the new Spider-Man, they took him out. I mean, they took him out for both Civil War, where it goes to Germany, and for Infinity War.
That is true. That is true. Well, I mean, okay.
Titan.
Are you gonna say no to Iron Man if he says, "Hey, come to Germany"?
I'm just saying that
some guys.
Spider-Man could potentially leave his city for hopefully Venom later.
You definitely just got me there. All right, so we have a couple more minutes before we take a break. All right, so what is the first thing when you hear Venom? Of course, it's only like just a week in theaters. So what's the first thing you think about when you hear the name Venom?
Probably the first thing I thought about was just kind of the cooler, more interesting Spider-Man. I just thought it was I always thought he was more interesting. I always thought the black suits looked cooler. So that it was always more intimidating, along with you kind of hope that he deals with Carnage and other symbiotes in the movie, and you get to see some of that. So it's a good time to go watch that and go see some good CGI fights.
No, it was definitely worth. Well, we only went to the AMC in Hamilton, but I bet if you went to
Terrible
AMC
theater.
No, it's not a terrible. Okay, it's pretty okay.
It was pretty not good.
It was worth the $6 ticket and the 20-minute drive. If we went to Westchester, it would have been like $10 or probably even more. But it was definitely worth it. First thing I think about when I see Venom, it's Tom Hardy. Like it sounds like I'm being very over. Like I always talk about Tom Hardy, but he is just a phenomenal actor. He made his debut of course he didn't make his debut, but he made his big hit in Inception, and he played the awesome Eames guy and makes fun of Joseph Gordon-Levitt for only like shooting a scar, and he just whips out a grenade launcher and just blows some dude off the roof, and he kills it. He kills that role. He killed the Bane role. We were just talking about this before. His other roles, he played The Drop. I'd never seen it. You've seen it.
Yeah, Drop's a really good movie.
Great movie, Tom Hardy. He isn't he in Peaky Blinders too?
Yeah, he plays head of the Jewish mob.
Head of the Jewish mob. That's a title that a lot of people don't have. Tom Hardy does. He's he plays Legend. He plays twin brothers in Legend. He's in Warrior.
Warrior's a really good movie.
Phenomenal movie. If you haven't seen it and you need to cry, watch Warrior. If you have an older brother out there, I know I do.
It's an interesting UFC fight movie. It's supposed to be basically like a quick tournament.
It's phenomenal.
Two brothers who haven't seen each other in probably 15 years.
Oh, probably even more.
Run into each other at this tournament on opposite sides of the bracket. So
one fights for the family, one fights for the country. It was
really entertaining movie.
It was fantastic. All right, now Venom. It was a great movie. I almost missed it. Worst part of the film.
The worst part of the film is that you've read it all about it. 40 minutes of the film were taken out, which obviously every film has its cuts and all, but you can just feel just kind of like it kind of just jumps from the middle, the second act to the third. Little bit rushed development between Tom Hardy and Venom, in my opinion. I thought they kind of became a lot closer out of nowhere.
Well, Tom Hardy did say they cut out a good solid 40 minutes of the film,
he was pretty pissed about it.
Yeah, he was, and I would be too, because I bet he put a lot of time and effort into that.
Yeah, he was. I think I was reading about. He was saying that like a lot of he thought the best moments between him and Venom were cut out. So hopefully they give us a uncut version at some point, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's all right. Worst part, honestly, for me,
and sucked.
What do you mean? What?
Anne was just annoying.
Okay, I mean that's how most like.
No, they don't. They're not all.
I mean,
that bad.
in Ant-Man's movie, his wife was really annoying. I'm trying to think of what else. Girl in the Hulk movies. I don't even know her name.
Yeah, that one was bad too.
She's annoying. Mary Jane Watson from Spider-Man movies. She's always just a burden.
Depends on which one.
The only really good one is Pepper Potts. Iron Man.
I was actually thinking that too.
Pepper is the best. We can't forget Black Widow. Yeah.
Well, Black Widow's not really.
I mean,
that.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna take a break, ladies and gentlemen. But we gotta take a little break for our sponsors. If you don't want to walk to class in the rain, or you're just a lazy person who slept in through all your alarms like all my friends, hop on a Bird. For a small price, you can borrow one of the many Bird scooters around Oxford. They've been dropped in, and you can take a spin. They're safe, fun, and cheap. And talk about a billion-dollar idea I wish I thought of. Here's Amy by the Pure Prairie League.
I can see why you think you belong to me. I never tried to make you think or let you see one thing for yourself. But now you're off with someone else and I'm alone. You see, I thought that I might keep you for my own. Amy, what you wanna do? path that could be right in time? And can you see which way we should turn, together or alone? I can never see what's right and what is wrong. Will it take too long to see? Amy, what you wanna do? I think I could stay with you for a while, maybe longer if I do.
All right, and we're back, ladies and gentlemen. And we're talking about Venom, new movie. It's really good. But now we talked about it, and if you're just tuning in, I'm your host, Alec Holker, and I'm here tonight with our special guest, the slickest, most Willis LeVert.
Yeah. Good to see you all.
Willis, where does the nickname come from? We asked Turtle. Turtle, of course, just got his nickname because he chose it. Ethan, last week, he got his nickname because he can do flips, and he did a flip in the room. Of course, nobody was able to see it. So why, Willis, why do you get the slick? Why are you so slick?
Slick Willie came from you guys freshman year.
Okay, nobody knows who we guys are.
All the guys in my Alpha Delta Phi pledge class.
Shout
came
out,
up with
baby.
it. Somebody else said it, kind of kept it going, turned into a funny thing, and everyone calls me that now. So,
Or Gus.
yep, Gus came from my middle name, but
August,
yeah.
which is a fantastic middle name. But so, okay, I was also kind of thinking about this. What if you changed your middle name every time the months changed? So no, I mean, think about it. You'd be Willis December. Okay, I mean, I'm not trying to bash your middle name.
Doesn't really roll off the tongue. William May LeVert.
Okay, that's
a little better than
that kind of. Willis December.
Yeah.
Or November.
Those don't sound as good, but
Willis January. All right, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
it's all good.
Can we still be friends, Willis?
No.
Shoot. So, all right. So we talked about the first. You can tune in later. I'll be posting my we'll be posting this whole broadcast on my blog www.holkerthoughts.com. I know it's cheesy. I got to change the name. I know I got to change the name. All right, I made it. Nah, I won't. But it's under. We're gonna need a bigger blog tab, and so now we are talking about the Spider-Man universe. Now, Spider-Mans have been going on since the dawn of men. Dawn of time. Spider-Man, he's honestly, he's one of the, I mean, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be Spider-Man. Like, imagine just like middle of class, like you drop
everyone sits in their bed lazy, like looking at the remote or their phone and just either does the Force or the Spider-Man hand thing.
I mean, I bet 9 times out of 10 I'm doing the Force. But like that one time, I wish I could shoot webs out of my palms.
Yep.
And
agreed. I think everyone wishes they could do that because that'd just be great.
It would just be fantastic. Of course, everybody of course, the Force is 1,000 times better. All those midi-chlorians, all that stuff.
Yeah, that part of Star Wars wasn't better, but
that part of Star Wars was 1,000 times better.
I don't think the midi-chlorians were that important. But
the midi-chlorians were so important, Willis. Don't get me started.
Let's go back to Spider-Man.
Don't get me started. We'll cut Spider-Man out of this, and we'll go Star Wars full 100%.
Another time.
Another time. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we will talk about Star Wars another time. So the Spider-Mans, they go back since the dawn of time.
Well,
and
the Spider-Man, literally the first Spider-Man of the Tobey Maguire era was kind of the first real modern superhero movie that really started. I mean, yes, Iron Man started the MCU, but it definitely opened the door for Batman trilogy and all the modern, post-2000 superhero movies. Pretty much all came from Spider-Man in 2002.
Yeah, so back in 2002, dude, when I looked it up, I did not think it was 2002. I always thought it was 2004.
Yeah, it made me feel a little old.
I mean, yeah, we are. That's okay. But yeah, so the first Spider-Man back in 2002. Now there's nothing holding back. If people haven't seen the Spider-Mans, you're gonna have to tune out because you all definitely seen the Spider-Mans. So Tobey Maguire, he did a great job, and he killed it. He played off the Peter Parker role as a nerd. He did it really well. The first one was his main villain was Green Goblin.
Willem Dafoe, really good. Willem Dafoe.
Is that?
Yeah, Willem Dafoe was the Green Goblin.
Okay, I thought it sounded like a fake name, honestly.
No, he's in John Wick. He was a sniper.
I never saw John Wick.
Well, you should.
William Dafoe. I know he was in Boondock Saints, though. He was that's him.
Yep, he's the guy that plays the
cop.
cross-dresser.
The cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cop. I don't like calling him the cross-dresser, but yeah, the cop. Yeah, so Tobey Maguire and before we look, who was the Mary Jane Watson back then? Because she was...
Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten Dunst. She was cutie. She was... I bet she was a real cute and
everyone remembers the upside-down kiss from the first Spider-Man movie.
Dude, that kiss
That was a pretty
is
iconic
legendary.
scene.
Legendary kiss. Like, everybody... I don't know how many times I've seen that remade in not even Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
And of course, the new, all the other Spider-Mans are just, honestly, they're in competition with Tobey Maguire.
I mean, that's kind of the measuring place because Tobey Maguire pretty much nailed it, other than the fact he was really old for, Spider-Man. Usually Spider-Man's, the ones in high school, but...
But see, well, I mean, he was in high school in this one, at least. The other two...
The first, he was graduating, but yeah.
Still. But the other two, he, of course... did not have... Okay, but see, the best thing I think that made Tobey Maguire Spider-Man's the best was Aunt May and Uncle Ben. They were old. The other Spider-Mans, Aunt May and Uncle Ben were my parents' ages. They weren't that old. Aunt May and Uncle Ben in these movies were white hair. They were ready to die. And they're like, this kid needs to get out of our house. And then all of a sudden he starts doing the Spider-Man stuff. And they're like, what's going on?
Yeah, I think the general relationships he had were a lot more. They seemed a lot more real, a lot more. They kind of weighed down a lot more. You actually felt like they were in trouble at times between his girlfriends and with his. I mean, you actually watch Uncle Ben die in the first.
Oh, dude, that was so sad. That was
yeah.
so sad.
And I get it; they don't want to redo that every time they make a new Spider-Man, but you definitely felt for him a lot more and kind of set the tone for the movies that they're a little bit dark at times.
Okay, but also. Coolest part of all the Spider-Mans is when he fights the one guy in the cage.
Oh, yeah, the very beginning. When he still got the...
Who does he fight? What's the guy's name? Oh, what's that guy's...
It was literally just another, a Hulk Hogan.
He had long hair, and he had a chair.
Oh, yeah.
It was fantastic.
And then you see him run away later, and he turns out to be a guy who kind of helps mug his Uncle Ben. And that was always kind of sad, but... It was always really interesting. And then really, I thought the second Spider-Man really hit it home. That's probably one of the best superhero movies ever to be made.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Doc Ock was really cool.
Of course, yeah. Tobey Maguire, he still kept it going. Were they the same directors for all three?
All Sam Raimi.
All three. And this guy, did he do anything else? Shout out to our other sponsor, International Movie Database, IMDb, for providing us all this great information. So Sam Raimi just whipping out the only 3 movies. Well, what do you got? Yeah. He did Army of Darkness and The Evil Dead, which if you haven't seen those, they're pretty funny. They're really funny, actually. Talk about back in the 90s when they're cheap comedy with skeletons and chainsaws and double barrel shotguns. But this Spider-Man 2 was phenomenal. The guy who played Doc Ock, Alfred Molina, he killed it. And the tentacles were scary.
No, they had some good personality.
They hissed like cats, and you were like, oh my God, what is going on?
Yeah, no, there are some really cool fights in that, too. I really like that. I don't know, the thing that was most interesting about Spider-Man 2 is him actually struggling with being a superhero in a real-world setting, between juggling life, his... Mary Jane.
The pizza.
Yep.
He was pizza delivery boy.
And, no one ever thinks about all the superheroes that aren't billionaires like Tony Stark or Batman. And he's actually struggling, and he's living in an apartment that's probably worse than one you would find in Oxford. And he's just struggling.
His door handle didn't work.
Yep.
That was one of his complaints, and Aunt May would always get on in his butt for it.
He's always late for rent.
Always late for rent, yeah. But also, he is Spider-Man. He's kind of got bigger things to do than pay rent. Like, I think
Spider-Man's got to eat and sleep too.
That's true, but I think at some point when you're of age, you start putting Spider-Man on your resume. Like, like, come on,
I mean, that's the whole point of the movie is that he doesn't want to get Mary Jane hurt, and that's why he breaks up with her in that one.
Did he? No. Oh,
they did break up.
What about Spider-Man 3? No.
They get back together.
Yeah, but then she says no in Spider-Man 3 to his proposal, the one when he puts the ring in the cup.
Yeah, that was due to different things, but yeah, they go.
Well, because he kissed Gwen Stacy, Gwen Stacy is the OG Spider-Man girl crush.
Yeah, he's the other main girl crush.
She's the OG, and
she's the main actress. That's Emma Stone in the next Spider-Man series,
which is way better. Emma Stone is way better than Kristen Dunst. Just in general, not
okay, yeah.
Well, and as Gwen Stacy,
I disagree with
Gwen
that.
Stacy is fantastic.
Yeah,
it just comes off. I mean, Mary Jane Watson does come off like MJ. Yeah. He would scream MJ, Mary Jane.
Yeah, she played a very good damsel in distress at all times.
Now, for all the marbles, Spider-Man 3. This is when we saw the first alien symbiote.
So I like
Topher Grace, the OG Topher Grace 70 shows. Eric Foreman comes in out of nowhere playing Venom.
He's Eddie Brock. He's just another iteration of Eddie Brock.
And he's a great Eddie Brock. He kills it. He's a little slime ball guy.
Yeah, he's a little more snaky.
So sneaky.
He's photoshopping pictures of Spider-Man because the only person who can get a good picture of Spider-Man is Spider-Man.
Yeah,
so
he thinks he's so cool using Adobe Photoshop. When
Jonah Jameson was also fantastic in that entire series. He was hilarious.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah,
J.K. Simmons.
He was hilarious.
Dude, he kills it, and he's just yelling, and he's always yelling. Each one of the movies, he's either yelling at Peter Parker, Spider-Man, or he's yelling at his other employees, and then he's yelling at that one kid for filming the camera.
Yeah, and he's always trying to undersell Peter for his pictures. Like, I'll give you $100 for this picture that I'm going to put across the New York Times.
Now, one of the things that I liked about Spider-Man 3 is that the symbiote, you could tell it changed Peter Parker. Kind of like how it changed Tom Hardy.
It had a lot more like subtle influences. It wasn't talking to him. It wasn't
Of course, there was no talking, but like you could tell in his appearance.
And then you have the very famous emo Peter Parker. When he's like doing that weird dance scene down the sidewalk. No, it's hitting on girls
Saturday
left and
night.
right.
Yeah, it's Saturday Night Fever. Yeah. He's shooting the guns over there. He's doing a couple winks over there, and he's doing a spin, walking into the men's warehouse, walking out with a dark black suit. Dude, that's
slicking his hair down.
Dude, slicking his hair down. He's just like throwing in candies. Like, I'll take it for 300, Jameson. And everybody's like, what? Everybody's blown away. Everybody's like, what? Who is this guy? And really, it's just the symbiote just taking over.
And he was just totally it was 100% like just turning regular Peter Parker was kind of a beta into an alpha, just trying to be real all over the place.
Yeah.
Take control of everything.
Yeah, Willis, you're a beta too. So don't get... Come on, you can say something, Willis. You don't have to... I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I did just insult Willis, but Willis didn't say anything back. I was expecting him to come back with something, but it's okay. But I think, honestly, one of the high points...
Betas apologize first. Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, no, all right, so Spider-Man 3, what made... the villains in Spider-Man 3 is what made Spider-Man 3 so good. Venom as Topher Grace, and then they also had Sandman, one of another very important Spider-Man villains.
And James Franco as the new Green Goblin.
And James Franco, James Franco was in these Spider-Man movies. People sleep on that.
Yep, he was Harry Osborn dealing with the idea that his best friend killed his dad, who was the first Green Goblin.
He didn't know, though. He just knew.
Found out in the
He found out.
Either the third one or the end of the second one. I can't remember.
I think it was the end of the second one. It was something like that.
Yep.
But so those were all really good films, and the Venom that we saw was honestly like once Eddie Brock got a hold of the symbiote, we saw how ruthless the symbiote could be. Like they killed Harry Osborn, like brutally. They were practically on the verge of killing Peter Parker in Spider-Man 3.
He was
really
very
close.
lethal. It was a lot more, but it wasn't as much of a personality, and it was a lot more serious.
I did like how they could kind of like they would transform just like the face.
I like the physical, like the imposing physicality of the new Venom, though.
Of course,
like,
the new Venom
was still like skinny Topher Grace, Eric Foreman from That 70s Show with a black suit with some teeth
and that charming little kind of smart ass. Sorry,
that bowl cut.
Yeah, that bowl cut. You're just like, it's totally Eric Foreman talking right now. But so Tobey Maguire, he did a good job as Spider-Man, but then we all had to wait like 5 years, and then we got the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. Is it? Yeah, Andrew Garfield. So.
And they try to go off the secondary, mainstream comics.
Yeah, so they started. So the first villain in that was Lizard.
Yeah, the Lizard.
Which was, I liked. I always liked the Lizard in the comics. For the comics, the two that I read.
Or from the video games, if you play the video games.
I did play the video.
Realistically, talking about the video games, everyone's first move was to climb up the biggest building and jump off, because that was just the first thing you could do with Spider-Man. Every time. The
best Spider-Man was the Spider-Man game, when you got to play, or
I think it was Spider-Man 2.
It was PS2.
It was on PS2.
It was on PS2.
Great.
It was awesome. It was the coolest thing ever. You could literally be Spider-Man and just swing around New York. It fulfilled all my dreams.
No, that was a great game.
So this Andrew Garfield, he kind of came out of nowhere, but also what carried the movie was Emma Stone, the sleeper of all the movies. Emma Stone, she brought out Gwen Stacy, the real Spider-Man's crush is Gwen Stacy.
I wasn't a big fan of Andrew Garfield, though, as Spider-Man. I thought he was...
Dude.
He was just super cocky all the time. And
yeah, but that's how Spider-Man is in the comics. He's kind of got that little smirky, kind of smarty, really talk.
Talk a lot, being a smart aleck, but he just kind of came across way too confident. He's you just never really felt like he was ever in trouble. So I thought it was interesting. I liked Tom Holland's version better just because he talked a lot more and he was a lot more nervous the entire time.
Yeah,
to Andrew Garfield just never felt like he was out of control or really going to lose. He just kind of, I don't know, he's just a very typical, flat character, in my opinion.
Now, what threw me off about Andrew Garfield's guy was that he made his webs. He made things that shot webs, which I was like, okay, this is not the real Spider-Man. Spider-Man has just webs come out of him like a spider. That's exactly.
Depending on, it's just different.
It was like they did a whole 30 minutes of him just trying to create the watches that shoot spider webs, and I was like, what is this? Can he not just shoot webs?
I kind of like that though, because it kind of you could run into issues where you're running out.
Well, yeah,
and that's kind of makes it interesting for fighting.
He had to reload cartridges. Okay, this guy's a superhero. All right, he's not in the Air Force or anything like that. He's just got to reload. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a little questionable.
Also, then this lizard guy starts turning other people into lizards.
Yeah, that was out there.
It definitely, okay, the cool part was when they fought in the school and he was trying to protect Gwen, but he was also trying to protect his identity.
I like that. There
were not that many good fight scenes in Amazing Spider-Man.
And then the second one
was cool. Second one was really cool. Electro, kind of a little glimpse of Rhino.
I thought he looked cool, but yeah. And then they had another Green Goblin that was more setting up the Sinister Six.
Yeah,
if you remember that, it was the guy from Chronicle.
That guy sucks.
Yeah, he's very easy to not like, but he was the Harry Osborn of that series, and then he kind of found the Sinister Six suits.
That's where it was from. That makes sense. Yeah, okay, I'm kind of
Rhino, Doc Ock, Green Goblin, a couple other suits.
Oh yeah. So now we're on to this new guy, Tom Holland. He's really young. And now we have Aunt May, who's even younger now. I will never forget how many times I saw so many on social media about how Aunt May just looking too beautiful, which she really is.
Although it's always really funny to watch Robert Downey Jr. hit on his mom or his aunt. That's always aunt. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. So, I mean, of course, Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark, Iron Man, philanthropy, playboy, what is it? Playboy.
Misogynist.
Playboy, philanthropist, entrepreneur. Billionaire. What do you have?
It was literally misogynist.
Misogynist.
He literally admits to being that obnoxious.
Yeah. So Tom Holland, he's doing a really good job. He was in Captain America: Civil War. Kind of had just a quick little shout out, and people got really hyped about seeing the new Spider-Man suit. He had his own movie last year, Spider-Man: Homecoming, which was really good. I liked.
It was actually one of my more favorite Marvel movies. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was
pretty interesting.
He fought Vulture, which was Michael Keaton, did a killer job as a superhero. I mean, a supervillain. And then now he's got
I like the lightheartedness of like the new Spider-Man though.
Yeah,
just
well, and
because-
you can kind of buy into it because
Yeah.
he's young.
Well, yeah, he's, what would you do if you were actually 17 in high school and a loser and all of a sudden you had superpowers? You would show up to a party with your suit to make an appearance and say you know Spider-Man, and that's basically what he does. And then no one ends up seeing him do a series of events. But
Yeah, that's what you do, Willis. You are Spider-Man. I know you are.
I would
Or
be a
you're
great
Batman.
Spider-Man.
Either one. I don't know. I'm looking in your eyes right now. I'm trying to figure it out. So before we head out, ladies and gentlemen,
Where's Rachel?
can you give us one? Come on, Willis. Come on, stop laughing. Give us a Where's Rachel?
Where's Rachel?
That goes out to Bruce Wayne out there. I know you're
That's
out there
a good
listening.
throwback. to freshman year.
So some really good trailers. There was actually we missed talking about Rocket Man last week. So Rocket Man, Elton John movie, going to be really good. Another one, The Mule, Clint Eastwood, one of my favorites, one of my father's favorites. Dirty Harry, of course, but now Clint Eastwood is playing a bad guy. He's playing
That'll be interesting. Anything by Clint Eastwood's going to be good.
It's going to be really good. And then we have the new Aquaman trailer came out. Of course, I'm not going to see it, but it looked appeasing.
I always wanted to see the Aquaman from Vincent Chase from Entourage. I don't know. It's a little nod to some people who've watched Entourage, but
Of course.
he was the first one to do Aquaman in my mind.
Now another one. Now another movie that's going to be really good. It's Vice. There's a movie on. It's of course Christian Bale's in it, but then it's following John McCain. John McCain's story as the vice president. to
Right,
George
I
Bush.
saw this, and Christian Bale did another
It looks
perfect transformation.
It looks really good. Christian
Yep.
Bale's the man.
Oh, also, there's a Mr. Rogers movie coming out with Tom Hanks.
Yeah, that's gonna be fantastic.
And I don't know if anyone's seen the picture side by side, but they made Tom Hanks look just like Mr. Rogers.
Tom Hanks.
It was crazy.
Tom Hanks is already Mr. Rogers. But if you haven't seen Won't You Be My Neighbor, documentary on Mr. Rogers, made me cry, made my whole family cry. So, ladies and gentlemen,
You cry at a lot of movies.
yeah, I do, Willis. All right, what do you?
Beta.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in tonight. We're gonna need a bigger blog. Thanks to Willis for coming on. Thanks to Venom for being a great movie. Thanks for a good weekend. Stars Born was fantastic. Go see it.
Yep, go see Venom. It was good.
Go see Venom. Here's the Doobie Brothers. Listen to the music. Doobie Brothers.
All right, thanks for having me.
That time it would be better spent.